Hello, Nick. This is the 9 a.m. turn of the first day, let's see, April 11th of the approach to battle, Montenotte. I know I said I wasn't going to probably be back until the combat of the next turn. But as it turns out, the way things are going to work out, we're not actually going to have a full combat. And we'll get into that. One thing I should have noted last turn, the Pigeon, the French unit, got to its objective hex for the road or the march order it had. If you're playing opposed, at that point you're supposed to show your opponent that to verify, like, okay, they were under that, so you're not cheating. So I just thought I'd mention that. All right, so it is a weather turn. We rolled and we got mud again. And that's also supply segment. So I guess this is something new. So supply segment. So both of these French units over here are going to be out of supply because they don't have a supply wagon on board within range. So that means they have to trace back to a supply source. The closest supply source is here, and it's over 14 hexes away. So they are out of supply. The effects of being out of supply are the same as if a formation was demoralized. The big things here is their initiative is going to be one less. They can't advance after combat, regardless whether they'd be in command or not. Those are the biggies. There's a couple other ones, but for our purposes, not that important. I also added a little fog of war. I'll go back and forth as we switch sides, just to kind of make it so maybe I forget what units or what. We also had the card segment. The French drew another mobile defense, so that's something that the coalition doesn't know about. And the the coalition drew a fog of war card, number 7. And when I looked that up, it's costly. Two VPs they give up. And that, let's see, where's that here? It could be useful. Oh, that's the French. So there was some errata here. This said number 30, but it's actually for 7. 30 is down here. So any 3 friendly stacks that meet the requirements to build an improved position automatically can do it without a roll. So that would be pretty good for defensive purposes. Maybe up here in Dago, or maybe the Piedmontese set up somewhere along here. But I don't know. At the moment, no big deal. Okay, so interesting play of the rules here are going to take place. So we go through the command segment. Again, the French don't have any officers or commanders on board. So now we go to the command movement segment. So if you remember those alternate reinforcements, that they played the alternate reinforcements card, and then we rolled, and they came in basically the next turn, which is now. So these guys are going to come in here, entering here first, and reinforcements for their first turn are always in command, and they are in supply until the next supply check. So they're coming in at just an opportune time, not only for that, but also because they're going to be able to secure Carcaré here. And if you look right here, this bridge is the only bridge across the river that the French can use. Everywhere else is just fords, which the French don't know about. There's a special fog of war card that makes it so they know about that. Or if they see, excuse me, man. Or if they see the coalition use a ford within 3 hexes or something like that. So this is huge. If this guy was able to get into Carcaré, they'd have to fight across that bridge, and that would be that'd be a little tough. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to use, the French are going to use this as their card for the turn. It kind of sucks that we're giving up this awesome command range doubling. And that would be awesome in the future if we had the forces kind of spread out to be able to keep everybody in command over a range. But the reason I'm using this is I need that 5 movement points for infantry, which we'll see in a second here. So these guys are going to start in road march. You also can, when reinforcements come on the board, you can write a march order for them. There's no need for us to do that. We could, but it's close enough for what we're going to do that we don't need it. So the terrain here, if this wasn't in road march, it's impossible to get in to Carcaré without them being in road march the whole way, because there's a span here and a bridge here, which would add extra movement points. If they started out in road march, they could go 1.5, coming out of road march to 2.5. Then it would cost an extra 1 for the bridge, and then this is a chateau here, so that costs an extra 2. So there would be 1.5, 2.5 to come out. They would need, it would cost 3 movement points then to get there, and that's 5.5. So Pelletier is going to stay in road march the whole way. So he's going to go 1, 2. Oh, I wonder if So this does bring up a question I hadn't thought of. For being in road march, does that hex still cost 2? I believe road march just makes I think we're probably still gonna require 2 movement points for this. I mean, I could be wrong about this, but so he's gonna go 1, 2. I guess well, hold on. So 1, 1.5. Then it's going to cost 2 to get into there. 3.5. So then a rule comes into play that if you're in road march and you enter an enemy zone of control, you have to attempt to repulse them. So we wouldn't know about who this guy is now since we have line of sight to him. So Pelletier is going to have to attempt to repulse this guy. And to repulse, you need to have 5-to-1 odds, is it? Yeah. So repulsing is basically as you're going down the road and you think that somebody's just putting vedettes in front of you and you just want to swat them aside. So that's when you just do that to repulse them, get rid of them. So the repulse will fail because we're only 7-to-3. We're at 2-to-1 odds. So when you fail a repulse, now you have to put this failure repulse marker on yourself, and he's going to be required to attack him during the combat phase, and whatever odds it is, it's going to be minus 2 columns. So that's really going to suck. So he would start out 2-to-1 odds, and then he would be moving 2 columns to the left, and he would end up on the he'd end up on the 1-to-1, which isn't horrible. However, if we look at the repulse rules, and this is an update of errata since the 735 here. So if the repulse is unsuccessful, both sides immediately remove any road march markers. All right, so we remove those. The repulsing stack immediately ceases movement and must attack the same units it attempted to repulse in the following combat phase. And here's the part that was added to either the 736 or the 737 rules. Unless terrain allows units not to attack. And when you are in a chateau, you are not required to attack. So he's going to get off scot-free for that. So that's pretty stinking awesome. I don't know, I just found that a pretty interesting set of events. So we'll have Miollis. He will go 1, 2, 2.5, It's going to cost, so he won't be able to enter here because he would go 4.5, and then he would have to spend an extra movement point to repulse, but he doesn't have 5.5, so he'll just be stuck there. All right, so that's I don't know. I just wanted to show that. That was pretty stinking cool. I guess we'll do the French over here quick. We'll start here. So because he's out of supply, he's actually got an initiative rating of 3. He's successful. So he's going to spend 1 to come out of road march. Let's see. So he's got that. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he'll just stay there. So he would have the out of command, but he did get initiative. So he's just going to use it to come out of road march. And really, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He could have stayed. And then this guy, he's also going to have a 3 initiative because he's out of supply. And he got a 4, so he cannot move. He is out of command totally. All right. So there you go. That's the French turn. So we would move on to the combat phase. This guy was supposed to be required to attack. However, the terrain of him being in the chateau allows him to not be required to attack. So this can just go away, and that's it. So that's pretty stinking cool. I think that's kind of neat how the rules kind of work together there to make that possible for them to take Carcray without a fight. And I think that's huge, considering that is the only bridge across that river that the French can use. So there you go. So that card is done. We'll put that in the discard pile, and onto the coalition. I don't really think there's anything super interesting going on with that. So maybe we'll just I'll speed ahead through the turns, and when we get to something new or interesting, I will let you know. All right, so I'm up to the 1 p.m. turn, and I thought I'd kind of just recap what's happened here. Quick note, with like in my example when I had them have to pay the 2 movement points, I don't think they would have had to, because road march uses the road rate. Even if you're not using road march, if you come in through a road, you ignore all other terrain in that hex. So like this hex here, the only way to enter it, I guess, is by a road. So you'd never have to actually pay the 2 movement points for the chateau. I guess like here would be an example. If you were coming from this hex here, entering that hex, you're not on a road, so you'd have to pay the 2 movement points. But, so, I mean, minor, nothing, nothing hurt. So, on the 9 a.m. Turn, pretty much the whole coalition was out of supply. These guys who were making their way over were up over here. They were too far away from the wagon. These Piedmontese were fine, and actually, I think actually all the Piedmontese were in supply. Yeah. Argento failed his command role, so he was delayed. And then, if you'll recall, our little buddy here who Torn Forte, Pelletier was in there at 7. The chateau doubles it, so it was a 3 to 14, and he rolled a 6, and attacker eliminated. He has since then recovered into ready to be reorganized, but there's no Piedmontese officer or commander on the map, so he's pretty much stuck there. And from my understanding of the one special rule, if the train moves further away from the supply source, we have to roll for that guy, and he could just die if you're moving without him being put reorged on the map. So interesting there. Maybe I shouldn't have rush down to try to get Carcaré with the Piedmontese. Of course, I mean, what were the chances that the French were gonna get the alternate reinforcement and then have it come in the next turn? So that was the 9 a.m. turn. 10 a.m. turn, Argento was able to get in command. He moved a little further. This guy was able to move. He turned around, hightailed away. He is a weak artillery. Unfortunately, on the previous turn, like I had hoped he was going to be able to move. I could have got him up here and bombarded, and then the guy who had been eliminated wouldn't have been obliged to attack, but he had failed at that time. But successful that time, started moving away. The French just stayed put in here, both of the units, and the follow-up unit consolidated in there. Everybody at this little caravan tried to continue to move. The artillery was stuck back here. They kept failing because they were out of supply, and so with that lowering of the initiative value, that really sucked for them. The 11 a.m. turn, La Harpe arrived to take command of the advance guard over here. La Harpe and let's see, this attached cavalry unit entered here. They moved up here, so the next turn put this guy who'd been trying to get to take over the Montenegino. He was the next turn in command since La Harpe succeeded, and so the French have that now. La Harpe the next turn moved back here to get these guys trying to move forward. So even though these guys are out of supply and their initiative ratings take a hit, it doesn't affect La Harpe. He's not considered a combat unit, so he remains a 4. So he can, even though they're out of supply, he can spur them on. The plan for him is to get these guys pushed up here and try to form some kind of defense against what's coming here. These guys have made some good progress. The 12 p.m. turn, which was another weather turn, and fair weather for a change. And that put these two guys back in supply because they were within range of the supply wagon for the Second Corps. The little artillery still, well, I guess not little. It's the three strength. It still was out of range. And things over the course of this, the French moved up to take this commanding spot here with the bridge and across the span there. Tempted to go take a peek at what this is. Actually, I'll have to check. I'll have to figure. This guy's up on. I think he actually probably can see the French unit, but the French unit can't see this guy up on the hill. The way line of sight works. So I think that's correct. So yeah, we're not sure. The Piedmontese aren't really sure what they can do, and the French here are unsure how much they should press. So that's pretty much where we're at. The 12 p.m. turn, the coalition got some reinforcements up here, infantry and artillery. Wrote a march order for them with their goal of coming down here to Ca della Sola, right here. So they should probably catch up with Argento. If Argento can make more than half of his rolls, command rolls, but hasn't been super lucky. So there you go. That brings us up to the beginning of the 1 p.m. turn. There's been no other interesting cards used. Some interesting cards in hand. The French have their own fog of war card now that they can build improved positions if they have a legal hex. And the coalition, besides that one, they also have, what was the 30? I think that was a pretty interesting one. Oh yeah, foraging French are surprised. The French troops break up in search of supplies. One enemy officer of your choice refuses command, and the units of his formation may not move, even by initiative, for the next 3 turns. This interrupts any march order movement by the chosen officer's force during those turns. During the same 3 turns, the final combat strength of all units in the formation after all terrain modifiers is reduced by 25%, rounding fractions down. So that seems huge. If Argento can get down here in a good attack position, I mean, the coalition could play that on La Harpe, and really do some big attacking. So we shall see. There we go. Onward. Hey, had something pretty interesting happen, so figured I'd get you caught up. So last I left you, it was the 12 p.m. turn. The 1 p.m. turn, La Harpe was able to get his forces moving up. He got himself in a nice central position here, so that he could pretty much put all of his people in command. This is the only guy out of range. And then on the 2 p.m. turn and the 3 p.m. turn, he failed. So he has just sat there doing nothing. And wow, just frittering away any possible advantage he might have had. He's allowed this Austrian unit here, who has been amazing, Salish, making a lot of his initiatives, making a play for that improved position there. However, he did fail during this 3 p.m. turn to get there. This guy's kind of been failing for the most part, hasn't gone anywhere. The artillery here has decided to head up this way, trying to link up so he can get under command of Argento here. And the 1 p.m. turn, Argento failed to get in command. 2 p.m. he was able to, and then the 3 p.m. turn he failed again. Just a lot of nothing happening. Got a bunch of got these 2 reinforcements at the end here that have the march order to come to Ca della Sola. They're kind of stuck up behind this other one. We've got another reinforcement coming on, gave the same march order to them. And then on this 3 p.m. turn, the coalition got some alternate reinforcements. And man, I'm just a sucker for these alternate reinforcements. And they got some big boys coming in, so they'll end up coming back up over there also. But I'll definitely be putting them under a march order. They're 2 turns out, so they will enter the board at 5 p.m. and Argento's got a nice little force if he can just get down there and start doing something. So there you go. 3 p.m. turn. The weather was fair again. Just clear sailing. And most amazingly, this little third artillery here of the Piedmontese was able to actually move on the previous turn and get up so that he could draw supply. So he's no longer out of supply. However, this guy this guy cannot ever get initiative to save his life. And I don't know, it'd be kind of wanted to get him maybe, positioned here to, block an advance eventually, but just not able to move. So there you go. We're finishing up the 3 p.m. turn. I kind of did all this stuff over here already. The only people I have to worry about is these 2. Heck, let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's see if this guy can do it. He's a 2. Not likely. Nope, rolled a 6. So he is out of command. Let's do this little artillery. Will he ever be able to get up and rejoin his compatriots? He got a 3. Hey, he is in command. Well, out of command, but he can move. So let's, I guess let's move him the safe route. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So there you go. So eventually he'll, I don't know, depending on how, it'd be risky for him to, I mean, actually, maybe he joins up stacks with this guy and they just use his initiative, try to do the whole stack. That might be better. So we'll see what happens. So there you go. That's the 3 p.m. turn. We'll move that big -3 victory points over here into the pile. Looks like right now, wow, the coalition has -4 net, and the French have -2. So, but still, no. I guess we had 1 combat, but that's been pretty much it. All right. Maybe this will be the video. I'll have to take a look and see how much is how much time I've accumulated. So that's pretty much it. We're going to move on to the 4 p.m. turn. We're getting near the end of the day. So hey, we'll see you probably the next video. Laters.